How do I live a happy, fulfilling life? How can I be a good person? Answering these two questions was the single-minded passion of Epictetus, the influential Stoic philosopher who was born a slave about AD 55 in Hierapolis, Phrygia, in the eastern outreaches of the Roman Empire. His teachings, when freed of their ancient cultural trappings, have an uncanny contemporary relevance. At times, his philosophy sounds like the best of contemporary psychology, and something like the Serenity Prayer, which epitomizes the recovery movement. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, could easily be a sentence in this book. In fact, Epictetus's thought may well be one of the taproots of the modern psychology of self-management, since his teachings have had enormous influence on leading thinkers on the art of living for almost 2 millennia, even though Epictetus is less known today with the decline of classical education. In other important ways, Epictetus is very traditional and uncontemporary, whereas our society, practically, if not always explicitly, regards professional achievement, wealth, power, and fame as desirable and admirable. Epictetus views these things as insignificant and irrelevant to true happiness. What matters most is what sort of person you are becoming, what sort of life you are living. For Epictetus, a happy life and a virtuous life are one and the same thing. Happiness and personal fulfillment are the natural consequences of doing the right thing. Unlike many philosophers of his day, Epictetus was less concerned with seeking to understand the world than with identifying the specific steps to take in the pursuit of moral excellence. Part of his genius is his emphasis on moral progress over the seeking of moral perfection. With a keen understanding of how easily human beings are diverted from living by their highest principles, he exhorts his students to view the philosophical life as a progression of steps that gradually approximate one's cherished personal ideals. Epictetus's notion of the good life is not a matter of following a laundry list of precepts, but of bringing our actions and desires into harmony with nature. The point is not to perform good deeds to win favor with the gods or the admiration of others, but to achieve inner serenity and thus enduring personal freedom. Goodness is an equal opportunity enterprise, available to anyone at any time, rich or poor, educated or simple. It's not the exclusive province of spiritual professionals, such as monks, saints, or ascetics. Epictetus advanced a conception of virtue that was simple, ordinary, and day-to-day in its expression. He favored a life lived steadily in accordance with the divine will over extraordinary, conspicuous, heroic displays of goodness. Epictetus's prescription for the good life centered on 3 main themes: mastering your desires, performing your duties, and learning to think clearly about yourself and your relations within the larger community of humanity. Even though Epictetus was a brilliant master of logic and disputation, he didn't flaunt his exceptional rhetorical skill. His demeanor was that of a lighthearted, humble teacher, urging his students to take the business of living wisely very seriously. Epictetus walked his talk. He lived modestly in a small hut and eschewed any interest in fame, fortune, and power. When Epictetus was young, his master, Epaphroditus, Nero's administrative secretary, brought the promising philosopher to Rome. From an early age, Epictetus exhibited superior intellectual talent that so impressed Epaphroditus that he sent the young man to study with the famous Stoic teacher, Musonius Rufus. Epictetus became Musonius Rufus's most acclaimed student and was eventually freed from slavery. Epictetus taught in Rome until AD 94, when the emperor Domitian, threatened by the growing influence of philosophers, banished him from Rome. He spent the rest of his life in exile in Nicopolis, on the northwest coast of Greece. There he established a philosophical school and spent his days delivering lectures on how to live with greater dignity and tranquility. Among his most distinguished students was the young Marcus Aurelius Antoninus, who eventually became ruler of the Roman Empire. He was also the author of the famous Meditations, whose Stoic roots were in Epictetus's moral doctrines. Epictetus died about AD 135 in Nicopolis.